Woman is speaking out about her husband's murder on Lundy Girl Night. Hear her plea to the city.
Also, a lawsuit filed by the No Latoya recall effort is headed to court today. We have a preview of today's hearing.
You're watching Good Morning New Orleans.
Will show damage left behind by strong winds and heavy rains.
You're watching WGNO News at 11, New Orleans' very own.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Chainog.
I'm Tamika Lee.
Well, No Latoya organizers were in court this morning for a hearing on a lawsuit aiming to remove 25,000 inactive voters from the registry.
That's right. WGNO's Zach Labe is live outside the criminal district courthouse. Zach, what do we know so far?
Hey, good morning, Tamika and Steph. So yeah, that case is still going on right now. I just came out here maybe less than 10 minutes ago. So they're still discussing in there. Right now inside the courtroom is the No Latoya campaign organizers, as well as their legal representation, as well as a representative for the Secretary of State and the Registrar of Voters. Now, right now they are discussing, or rather they started off talking about extending past the 30-day deadline. The judge did decide that they would allow that to extend past that 30-day deadline. But next, the lawyer for the recall campaign was arguing that the Secretary of State should have shown up in court himself rather than sending a representative. Now, his team did argue that the representative they sent is the person who is in charge of maintaining that Registrar of Voters, or at least having that direct communication with the Registrar of Voters here in New Orleans. So they said that that was the best representative that they could have sent. Now, further into that, they did move into discussing whether or not this is an improper venue. Now, the Secretary of State's team argued that because he works in East Baton Rouge and all of that data is in East Baton Rouge, that he should have had that case in East Baton Rouge rather than here in New Orleans. Now, the judge did agree to have that in New Orleans, so we'll have more details in our evening newscast, but for now, sending it back to you guys.
All right, once again, across the area, well above normal for this time of year, and we're not too far off of the standing record, which is 83 for February 27th, set back in the 1960s. So we continue to rise out of the 70s into the 80s across our area, by far the warmest in the state. As we also factor in the wind component, which is adding a bit of a breeze, you'll continue to watch some of these numbers on the way up over the course of the next couple hours. So right now, everyone dealing with anywhere from 10 to 20 plus mile per hour gusts, and they're out of the southwest. We'll continue to watch the transition on direction, but you can see across the area, some spots likely getting to 30 miles an hour in Gramercy and Houma. Dulac just a little bit lower, with Empire near 34 to 35. So we're going to continue to watch those numbers trend down during the evening time frame, and then we'll head into tomorrow with a similar forecast, a little bit less wind, but still a breeze off of the coast. As we look towards the end of the week, Thursday into Friday is your next front end potential severe weather outbreak. So we're going to, of course, time out all the details and impacts in just a bit. Stay with us. Back to y'all.
So much in today's crime report. One man is dead and another injured in a shooting in Central City. The NOPD says it happened after 9 last night in the 2500 block of South Derby Street. EMS pronounced one man dead on the scene. The other victim was taken to a local hospital. And covering the North Shore, the St. Tammany Parish Coroner's Office says it may have helped restore eyesight to dozens of people last year through organ transplants. St. Tammany Coroner Dr. Charles Preston says an annual report from the Southern Eye Bank shows his department coordinated the donation of eye tissues from 70 donors in 2022. Well, that led to 124 cornea transplants. In a statement, Dr. Preston says he encourages everyone to register as an organ donor. Visit lopa.org to find out how you can register.
Well, students at Dillard University don't have class today. That's because for the second straight week, the school has lost power to parts of campus. Students living in some dorms have even been placed in a hotel while crews work to restore power. The school says classes will be held virtually tomorrow and Wednesday, and that students will return to campus Thursday and Friday. The school has also moved midterm exams back by 1 week. Now here's a look at the latest gas prices here in Louisiana. Right now, the price per gallon is around $3.04. That's 20 cents lower compared to a month ago. In Orleans Parish, the average cost is $3.08 a gallon. St. Bernard Parish has the lowest average price right now at $2.95 a gallon, and Plaquemines Parish has the highest average at $3.27.
Covering America, severe weather has 42 states on alert for strong winds, heavy snow, ice, and avalanche danger. More than 250,000 are without power nationwide after multiple tornadoes overnight in the Midwest.
Yes, in California, a rare winter storm bringing snow and flooding. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Thousands without power in Oklahoma after a dangerous storm swept through the state. Multiple tornadoes touched down, high winds knocking down power lines. People urged to take immediate shelter.
There are multiple roadways still closed due to debris and down power lines.
In Norman, Oklahoma, the damage widespread and authorities say at least 12 people were hurt. Roofs ripped off of homes, cars flipped over, one leaning against this house.
All I heard was like rattling, the whole house was shaking, the door was going crazy. Our front window in our third bedroom busted through and glass was just flying through the hallway, and it was kind of scary, yeah.
People in Kansas to Texas also facing severe weather. Devastating winds over 100 miles per hour causing near blinding dust storms across the state. This is the same system that brought rain, wind, and snow to the West Coast, stranding drivers and closing down sections of major highways. More than 6 feet of snow fell in the higher elevations of Southern California. Heavy rain also causing flooding. Cars completely submerged in water. ABC's Matt Gutman in Los Angeles.
The family that lived here heard a noise. They thought it was an earthquake. Pretty soon they realized that this concrete-like mud had basically destroyed the back 3 bedrooms of their house, the entire hillside coming loose.
The storm is then expected to move into the northeast with heavy rain today from the mid-Atlantic to New York City and snow to the north, 3 to 6 inches expected in Boston by Tuesday. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Coming up, a startup
way
called
to make some extra cash.
SudShare lets anyone with a car, washing machine, and a dryer make money by doing other people's dirty laundry. We'll show you more in today's text line.
And we are much warmer than we should be for the end of February. Certainly no snow here. Your forecast for March's start coming up.
Stefanich Hainon, and meteorologist Brooke Laser.
It's a Monday in New Orleans, and for many that means red beans are on the menu. The City Council spent the morning recognizing Camellia Beans for 100 years in business. Council members got to watch a short documentary on the history of the company. Chef Edgar Duke Chase spoke about how the dish is tied to tradition here in New Orleans.
That speaks to the tradition and the culture and how important one dish is and how important food is in terms of bringing people together and make sure those traditions and that culture carries forward into the next generation and the next generation.
People's lists of things they like to do, but a startup named SudShare is turning Laundry Day into an opportunity to make some extra cash. That sound is money to Tony Villalobos.
In these 5 months, I've been able to catch up on every single bill that I've had.
You're gonna show me where you do the laundry?
Yeah, this is where the magic happens.
The El Monte resident was looking for a way to make some extra cash after a recent layoff. He discovered SudShare, an app like Uber, but for doing other people's dirty laundry.
I have towels, blankets, kids' clothes, adults' clothes, athletic stuff.
Villalobos is now among the 200,000 Sudsters nationwide, picking up bags of laundry, washing, and yes, folding, then returning within 24 hours.
Technology's made everything so fast and easy, except for this chore that takes the longest and that we hate the most, laundry.
Mort Fertil got the idea for SudShare from his wife, who was frustrated with the time-consuming task.
This is the first ever manual labor work-from-home gig in the world where people take their laundry room and basically turn it into a work-from-home gig.
SudShare charges about $1 a pound for cleaning. Sudsters keep about 75% of that, plus tips and bonuses.
Our top 10 Sudsters are earning over $5,000 a month.
I do have my gloves right here, so I have a little compartment with all my SudShare stuff.
Training videos and tutorials teach everything from how to wash to how to fold.
And if there is a zipper on it, it has to be zipped up and then buttoned.
Customers can choose from high-quality scented or hypoallergenic detergent, or supply their own.
I really do enjoy it. I recommend it to as many people as possible.
SudShare uses an algorithm to ensure that the best-performing Sudsters get the best jobs. Villalobos tells me that he makes about $200 a week doing just a few orders, and that's in addition to his new full-time job. All right, if you want to learn more about SudShare, go to my website. It is richontech.tv. I'm Rich DeMuro, and you are Tech Smart.
Once again, warmer than we should be for the month of February, right? We're waking up a little bit cloudier now. Temperatures are in the upper 70s with lots of sunshine out there. We still have a couple clouds and we'll continue to see them over the course of your day on and off. So dew points very far apart from our actual temperature at the moment. We started off with a lot of low-lying cloud cover on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and we're still seeing that. Certainly a lot gloomier over to the east. Our winds continually kicking up with the temperature on its rise as well, and we'll watch that pattern stay with us through the middle and latter part of the week. Your next big dynamic temperature change coming Thursday and Friday, and that's going to be the first spring severe weather threat in the month of March. So we've had a spring-like pattern for at least the last couple weeks of February, on and off, right? Every now and then a shot of winter, but I think for the most part we are done with the majority of those winter-like conditions near freezing in the overnight time frame. So we'll continue towards those upper 70s and 80s for the next couple hours across the region. Our standing record of 83 was set back in 1962 for February 27th, and we very well may break that. We'll be watching closely. Wind speeds at the moment are in the 20-mile-per-hour range for New Orleans as well as Belle Chase and Reserve, not to mention New Iberia. Otherwise, in the double digits to teens out there. And we'll likely see these gusts making it to at least 30 miles an hour in many spots in just the next hour and a half or two. So something to keep in mind, just make sure everything is secured. Your decor, the trash cans, any type of furniture on the porch that might be lightweight. As we continue towards the evening time frame, those numbers will trend down a bit, and then we'll head into tomorrow and Wednesday with more wind around out of the southeast before Thursday's front approaches. And with that front, we're likely going to have yet another round of severe weather. We'll be watching for the possibility of severe thunderstorms and those gusty winds alongside the line as well. So headed into the next couple days, just the possibility of quick passing showers, if anything, otherwise clearing and clouds around too. As we head into Thursday, we'll fine-tune the details of that system's arrival, but it looks to be late Thursday night into Friday during the overnight period at the moment. And we are already seeing a bit of a severe weather concern from the Storm Prediction Center. So we'll also fine-tune that as we get a little bit closer. Temperatures in the mid-80s today. Again, we very well may top that record that is standing with 84. That's all it would take. We'll continue to have these winds with us through the afternoon. Anywhere from 80 to 85. A couple spots might reach that closer to the Louisiana-Mississippi state border. And here's your humidity, staying consistent with that feels like temperature component until Thursday, and then we'll watch the humidity fall with the arrival of dry, cool air. So morning lows tomorrow, cooler than we were today in the 60s, a little bit closer to 70 on the South Shore, warmer without a doubt. Our temperature outlook taking you into March above average across the entire South. And here's our 7-day forecast. Rain chances stay relatively low until we get to Thursday. Even then, it's just going to be the line you're watching for. And our primary concern will likely be gusty winds, but you can't necessarily rule out that isolated tornado threat ahead of the main line. So we'll be watching for it closely. On the back side of the front, instead of topping out in the 80s, we'll be in the upper 60s for highs. And then 70 itself looks like the high for the weekend. Should be beautiful. You'll start out in the 40s and 50s as you're waking up.
Thanks, Brooke. And to stay up to date with the latest weather and headlines in your area, be sure to download the WGNO News app. It's available for free in the App Store or Google Play. Well, in today's Medical Minute, there is troubling new information on the number of pregnant or recently pregnant women who died after the onset of the pandemic. ABC's Faith Abube reports.
Death rates for pregnant and recently pregnant women in the U.S. rose dramatically in 2020 compared to the year before. That's according to a study led by researchers at the University of Texas at San Antonio. The mortality rate for non-medical and non-pregnancy related causes jumped 36%. Pregnancy-related causes went up 22%. The researchers point to multiple factors, including an increase in mental health troubles during the pandemic. The study also found significant increases in deaths from drugs, car crashes, and homicides. There are also clear racial gaps in the death rates. Compared to white women, death rates were 3 to 5 times higher for American Indians or Alaska Native women. Black women were also at higher risk of dying from homicides than other racial groups. These are concerning trends that highlight the need for better follow-up care, monitoring, and advocacy for pregnant people, and particularly for minority groups in the U.S. With this Medical Minute, I'm Faith Abube, ABC News.
Still ahead, we take you to an iconic museum honoring the King of Blues. Hear his story and how his legacy lives on. The famed Club Ebony was once a stop on the Chitlin Circuit and the Mississippi Delta.
Yeah, the club was also once owned by B.B. King and is just a stone throw away from a museum dedicated to his legacy. LBJ reports on the museum in today's Honoring Black History, sharing our stories, presented by Inclusive Care.
Known by everyone as B.B. King and seen here in a night concert at the 1991 New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, Riley B. King hailed from the small town of Indianola, Mississippi, and took the music of the Delta to the world.
For me, what's important is that you understand where he came from and understand that the sky's the limit, because you look at a man who was a sharecropper in his days and who rose from a little small town like Indianola and became this big iconic figure.
The B.B. King Museum is a stellar 20,000 square foot tribute to that iconic figure, built from a 114-year-old cotton gin in King's hometown. King lived to see and visit the museum, and when he first learned of the location, there was an added surprise.
What, do y'all know what that is? I said, yes, sir, we know what it is. It's an old cotton gin. I said, yeah, but did you know I used to work there? So he actually worked in this particular cotton gin as a young man.
King left Indianola and headed to Memphis, spent time working on the radio there, and all the while honing his craft to become the person some called the King of the Blues. The museum tells that story, along with all of the King's accolades from the albums, the Grammys, as well as all of the Lucille's, the names he gave to the guitars he played. The space is also dedicated to causes dear to King.
Especially young kids. You know, all the educational programs that we do are geared around things that was near and dear to his heart. So we do a diabetes workshop because he was a diabetic, you know, so we do a lot of learning things. BB always said that one thing about learning, once you learn it, people can't take it away.
B.B. King came home for good in 2015 and is buried on the grounds of the museum. For WGNO News, I'm LBJ.
Coming up, a California man earns a world record for theme park visits. Find out how many visits to Disneyland it took to get there.
Fan wished upon a star nearly 3,000 times.
Yeah, for 2,995 days in a row, Jeff Wright visited the happiest place on earth, and now he's got the Guinness World Record to prove it. It all started back in 2012 when Disney promoted, of course, the theme parks. Visit the park for 366 days a year. All right.
Well, he broke that record. He couldn't pay me to go to Disneyland that too much. I don't like the crowds.
Okay. I'd go. Thanks for joining us for WGNO News at 11.
Have a great day.